Hi everyone, my name's Amanda Romania, and I am so delighted to be sharing with you today my Akashic Records Oracle Deck. Those of you that have worked with me before, or you've seen my videos, or you've seen me at events, know that I've been working in the Akashic Records for over 20 years now. I first had my attunements in Glastonbury and Egypt, and that's where my psychic senses came online, and I began to channel from the Akashic field. And I was able to look at it from the various perspectives of healing people's Akashic records, clearing them, or even just gaining clarity. And if you're wondering what the Akashic records are, well, basically, it's the database of your soul. It's where all your karma is sorted into. It's where your life experiences, your past life experiences, your future life experiences are all stored. It's like a database, a universal database that is so vast. It's like all of these libraries. And I know at the beginning, when people start working in it, it can be a little overwhelming. And that's how it got for me a few years ago. And to show you how that was, I was doing readings and helping people, bringing their information in, helping them sort it out. And I'd gone one step further in the Akashic Records. I didn't just want to give you information and insight. Oh, you were this in a past life. Oh, you're carrying this. I wanted something more tangible that we could work with. So I created where I worked with Oracle cards. I'd gone to various different trainings with those over the years. I'd learned with angels, with masters. I'd learned through the tarot. And what I ended up with was a bag like this. My gosh, of hundreds and hundreds of oracle cards and even the tarot cards as well. And for some reason, around 2017, I started to get readings where it wasn't fast enough. It wasn't quick enough. I was still asking some questions. I needed some clarity. So I sat down with some of my other librarians and we looked at what are the key elements you need to give an Akashic reading. What are the things that come up in Akashic records? And we looked at it and said, okay, this is the 45 things that will work for us. And if we are able to bring these pieces of information through, then it kind of allows us to give more insight. And what's also important is the people that we're reading with, it can also give them messages as well. So tried it out and it worked. My readings were quick and fast. We then did a prototype. We then did another rebranding and a redesign. And across the world, we've kind of sold hundreds of decks. And every week I receive amazing messages from people that are working in all different aspects of life, healing, spirituality, where they're able to actually work with this deck. So the other thing to remember about this deck is it's also live. There'll be decks in your cupboard right here, right now, that you go, oh, it's really pretty, but I only use it a few times. Or it's really pretty, but kind of don't have a connection. And very often that's because that deck or the person that created that deck is not actually working with it. It's like a piece of art, beautiful, really brings some help and healing to you in that moment, but it's not actually working in those metaphysical zones because the person that created it, the essence of it, isn't working in those areas either. I work with this one every single session. And actually now I used to blend my decks. I don't do that anymore. This is the deck that I work with. And this is the deck that not only gives me the information, it also activates and works in the records. Because of my energy, I call them keys and my codings. When we're working in this deck, it's going straight up into those libraries of light and helping work through that. And to give you another insight of that, if you've had a session with me, very often people will say, I booked my session last week. And since then, something has been happening with my guides, with my insight, that's brought me some clarity. And what I explain to them is when we're energetically connected, then we're working in the records in the astral layers in the dream time. So let's get into the box and have a little look what's in here. So we created the box with intention, symbolism, and also that it's an opening of a record of a book. So it's a little bit more than a basic, oh, that's a pretty design. It has some thought and some intention. First thing you're going to do is you lift open, and you'll notice that there is, first of all, a book. And little life coach, I'm right there with you. And in the book, it has the image and it has some insight that you can work with. If you are a beginner, this is how you go, how you start. You read the card, you read the book. After a while, you'll find that these programs of insight and information download into your third eye, that you're able to recall more of that psychic information. And this is why for our intermediates and advanced, sometimes they don't need the book. But the book is a great place to start. And it also has some of our key little spreads and some of the information about how you blend and how you work with decks. So that's the book that's there. Now, I didn't want to open a new deck. I wanted to kind of open a deck that I've been working with so that you could kind of feel the energy. And we've got that gold frequency there. So it's kind of designed to come into the golden age. And when you first open it, it's kind of like it tune into your heart, connected in that level. And then you're simply going to open the deck by shuffling. Cards, oracle cards that are live and working, work like magnets. So if you're a reader or you're a healer or you're looking for some insight, as you're tuning and asking for insight and spiritual information or clarity on something, your guides are simply downloading that piece of information to you. And what I will say is when you're doing readings or you're connecting with them, sometimes it can be exhausting because the information's coming in through the occipital ridge, the back of your head. So it drains parts of our energy systems that can leave us feeling very depleted. When you're working with an oracle deck, that takes that depletion away because it's working with you as an interface. So simply, we then start to meet and greet each card. So let's see which card wants to come today. And I'm going to do something called a 3-card spread. If I was working for myself or I'm working for another, what do we need to know today to help this situation with the Akashic Records? The first card, interesting. It's the cosmic lives. And this is going to be the center of this mini little reading for us. First thing I'm looking at is I'm looking at the cosmic lives, I'm looking at the picture, and I'm looking at the imagery. And what I'm actually noticing is this star here, which means that the energy around us as we work with this card is we're looking and observing the stars and paying attention to what is there. So if I was doing a reading, I would say, okay, your cosmic families are connecting with you. Your cosmic records are open. Let's look at what we need to learn and understand by this. Forgiveness. Forgiveness. And if you look, the light here is like the light here. And what that means is that looking through that lens of forgiveness, if you're a star seed and you feel a longing to be home or you're far away at this moment, this is where they're reaching out and they're connecting with you. So they're letting you know that they're making contact. And so anything that you've doubted in yourself at this moment is being activated in your records. So keep that one there. What else can we learn from this? What else can we do? If you notice you're having a dialogue with this, they're connected to the records of your soul. They're connected to the halls of Amenti, which the Sphinx, which many of you know that I work with and I work in, the halls of Amenti are the Akashic records of the soul, more than just simply the databases in the libraries. So what you're being shown today with these 3 little cards is that your soul records are activating and they're ready to connect with you. You just have to do some energy healing or some clearing. But I also pick up, if you look just at the side there, that little, it's like a star. It's like the star that's here. And I hadn't really seen that before. So sometimes you'll see other things in these cards and the way to work with them. Now, in the Akashic frequency, you might put this together. And if you look, I'm just placing it here. So the positioning and the color is very important. And if you look, it's night sky here, night sky there. You may create an Akashic record like this. I hereby understand that I come from the stars. I have been away from my star family for a long, long time. But by accessing my heart, forgiving things of the past, my soul records are now open and active to work with. And so it is. And we fold up this little deck, put it together, and that becomes a record that's going into the Akashic library. So that's one little way. Now, next one. We might be looking at where we can bring some healing or some, we're doing healing with people, we're doing energy work, and sometimes we're looking for that little bit of insight. You may have picked up something within someone's chakra, their solar plexus or their heart, and you're wondering what's behind the scenes. Many intuitives can simply hold their hands and they're psychically bringing in the information. But if you want the information and the confirmation for the client that you're working with, sometimes you might want to ask into the Akashic Oracle, what is it that we're working with? What is it we're looking at? What will often happen is with people that we're working with, when they see something on that level, it's visual, they're able to intake it, which means they're ready to shift it. Because sometimes we can get blocked. What are they working on? What are they doing? So you can use this within your healing practice. So it could be sacred contracts. Like I said, solar plexus and heart. What I would be thinking of with this is that maybe that a relationship with them has ended and they're looking for new insight and healing in their heart that empowers them. So all of a sudden, what we're seeing is a card that we can actually work with. So you would maybe be having that conversation of, okay, let's just do some healing and clearing around the relationship area, your sacred contract area. I've actually got some students that work on people, and often the people have like a reaction to things as it's coming out of their bodies. And I call it the bathroom dynamics, but sometimes they don't know where it's from. This deck can give insight and it can give activation to help support in that moment. So sacred contracts. Anything else we want to do with that person and help them? Yes, because we want to clear those ghosts, those toxic relationships that can sometimes sit with us. And they sit within our solar plexus area. And often, unless you do a full detox or you're doing cleanses, they just kind of reside there, hiding in the darkness, waiting till that weaker moment comes. But now, with this deck, you're going into the Akashic Records and you're saying, you can't hide anymore. We're here to help. So this card facilitates on that level of reading into those records and reading that insight. You might be a life coach, someone in personal development. You may be a manager of people, that things are changing in their world, changing in your world. And you kind of want to understand how can you show up in that better way. Again, just gently talking about those 3 little ways. and they're telling me to pull 4 cards. Again, you can do structured readings with this deck, but if you're open to free flow without every card on the deck, this is where you can make some changes and some insight. So I want to pull 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 cards here. Remember, I placed the intention. I wanted to look at if we were doing life coaching, supporting others. And so the reading sits like this. Now, if you look at it, it's in 2 sections. And we have female relationships with wealth and abundance. It doesn't just mean money. What it actually can mean is an abundant life. And if you look at her, she's full of life, she's vibrant, she's got that sunshine all around her. She's in her shadow, which means she has to come out of that. And it's that divine feminine. This is nothing to do with necessarily just female. This is to do with that divine feminine, that nurturing soul within all of us. And how, as a life coach, and you can be male or female, helping that person across the table, is you're helping flush their wars and battles out. What is it they're facing in their present lifetime that's a war and a battle? Let's help flush that out. So this is giving you tools and techniques and words that you can use from the Akashic Records with that person in front of you to move and shift blocks, things that aren't aligned, things that you want to activate. So even though, as you see, this can be a little darker, and I purposely did this in the records because I have to say it, my darlings, there's dark and shadow and there's light and love. It's the balance of the universe. So by working with these and understanding, observing these, but not letting them take power, we can release and let this go to move this into alignment. So I think you're kind of starting to see that this is no ordinary deck. Again, I'm going to fold these 2 together. I'm going to fold this one as a frequency on top, the frequency on top, and that becomes the record. So we've worked with a couple of different ways and means, and I think what you're also starting to see is that you may be able to find some ways that this prompts as a middle within your sessions for yourself or for others, that then you take all of your gifts and you use them because you have the solutions. This is why I love this deck, because I'm able to share it not just with the Akashic Records and librarian communities. I share this with life coaches, influencers, people in corporate, people in the education world, people in the legal world. And because they're able to use it, it's prompting information and it's activating information. So it's a tool that can spread across many, many modalities. So that's my little exercise with that. And then when you've finished, take your deck. Again, you don't want to break the spines of the cards because that can break the frequencies. Simply putting it away, clearing it, placing your intention. If you see, I've got the sacred Ankh and my symbol of Seshat, the goddess from Egypt, from the Akashic Records. And my Akashic Records come from through my Egypt work, working in the Great Pyramids. They come back through the Atlantean times and then from my cosmic lineage. So this is kind of my Akashic therapy school that doesn't come through another teacher, doesn't come through a lineage of anyone else. And this is why I find that this Akashic deck can go through any other teaching because there's some amazing teachers out there. And also to back this up, I also wrote these 2 books, Akashic Therapy. It gives insight about how to get into the libraries, past, present, future, life between life, and cosmic. And if you wanted to delve more into the cosmic, This is my Stargate book that allows access into the other races and how to work with your starseed energy. So we have the tools to kind of complement on your journey as you would wish to take them. Now, you can purchase these on Etsy, Amanda Romania store. You can buy them on Amazon under Amanda Romania. And you can even connect with them through my website. You simply just need to put in www.amandaromania.com or email us amanda@amandaromania.com. Really easy, really simple. We do offer trainings, we offer mentorship, we offer private sessions. But if there's one thing that you can give yourself in this gifting time, it's the ability to own your own records. And this deck was designed to do that. You have all of those gifts within you. Sometimes you just need a little direction. And I hope that this video has been able to do this. So from my heart to yours, blessings on this journey and blessings at this time. This is the golden age we came for. And I'm delighted that I can share this with you. Namaste.